Hello. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Kara Goodwin, and I'm the host of the Meditation Conversation podcast. And today I want to talk about something that is part of a lot of our lives that actually, if we aren't being mindful about it, can block us from being in the divine flow. As you probably have realized, I hope, you are a creator being. You are creating your reality as you move through your life. And when we are really fixated on our routines and our habits, we can actually be blocking the divine flow. We can be kind of taking ourselves out of that current that helps us to have intuitive guidance and to feel like we're connected to God and to the other side. So, when we want to strengthen our connection to the other side, one of the kind of easy ways that we can take action on that is to look at how much of our day and our existence is habit, is routine. Now, I understand that the importance of routine, and I'm speaking kind of. I feel like there are two sides of the spectrum, right? There are people who move through life and they're very regimented. It's they know what they're doing. They've found the routine that works for them and they stick to it. And that feels very important to them in their life. So they're, always waking up at the same time, going to bed at the same time, having their meals at the same time, and everything kind of down to the hour, to the minute. It's the repetition every day. They know what to expect. And I would say that I fall more on that side because I do enjoy my routines as well. It helps me to feel organized. It helps me to kind of feel like I know what to expect, and that I'm not going to forget things. It helps me to feel efficient. There's the other side of the spectrum where there's no routine, there's no organization, and those people would probably benefit from adopting more habits, more routine, more regimen, more discipline in order to keep things from falling through the cracks. But these are two sides of the same spectrum. And when we want to be in this divine flow, it's going to be this balance between the two because discipline is an important part of our development, our spiritual development, and our personal development. It does really help to have some discipline to make sure that things aren't slipping through the cracks. But we don't want to become so disciplined and so regimented that there's no room for this divine flow to move in. So when we really feel like we've got our life locked in and we kind of have our minute by minute plan and we don't need to it almost keeps us from having to think too hard about what's coming, what you should be doing. um, but that can actually start to diminish the flow. So because we are creator beings and we are creating our reality, our days really won't be always the same from one day to the next. There should really be some variety in there because if every day was the same, if we're always kind of a slave to the clock and we perform the same action or carry out the same habit at the same time day in day out, we're really kind of robots. There's not a lot of room for that creativeness that we are. Now, of course, this is just kind of coming to me at the moment, but setting aside time for creativity if we really feel like, because there are, we may have executive functioning issues. It may be that we have trained ourselves to be very regimented for specific reasons that really help us to function in our world. And so if we may feel that if we loosen up too much on that, then things won't be held together as well for us. So, we have to take everything and apply it to our own reality and what works for us. But it may be that because of our personality type or because of the way that we operate, um, building in time to focus on our creativity might be something that we think about, where we have like regular 2-hour blocks of free time that we can just explore our creativity um, in a certain way and kind of exercise that muscle. But again, because we are creative beings, we want to have room and space in our lives for that creativity to flow in. So I really just encourage you to think about how regimented your life is, and understanding and accepting that life really is this balance. There is a balance required between being really regimented and having that free flow. We want to strike a balance between the two, because just kind of laying around and never, oh, sorry, I just knocked my dog in the nose. Um, we don't, I don't think it really can always serve to have day in, day out with no structure and no discipline. That can also, it can keep us from actually accomplishing much if we're just if we're kind of always holding space for um, the universe to show us something. We may not ever be really taking action as a creator, on the other extreme. So just look at yourself, at your own habits, your routines, and see if there's spaciousness in there, if you're keeping time in there for the divine to flow, for yourself to be in a flow where it's unstructured time, accounted for time, and allow yourself to be in that divine flow in that way. So I hope that you will join me on Friday. I'm going to have Sarah Evans and Lori Williams from the Into the Blue podcast. They channel various beings, including the Palladian group of 9. And they're just fantastic. I had them on the podcast in just a few weeks ago in September. And people loved it. They got so much out of it. And then Sarah and Lori have been kind of upping their game through their interactions with people who tuned in to that live stream and booked private sessions with them. All these things are opening up for them. So I get to have a session with them this week, and then we're going to have this live stream, and you can ask your own questions. You can, they're going to get into the Akashic records and be able to have answers for listeners. So you can register for that on karagoodwin.com under live stream events. I also have the Miracles Summit that's coming on November 14th. This is a live summit. It's a free summit, and I'll have 9 spectacular guests. And you can upgrade. You can purchase the replay for just $27. And then there's also the VIP pass, which is only $55, a huge, huge value out of the VIP package, where you will receive the replay, but you'll also get gifts from the presenters. They've got some amazing activations and workshops and so many other amazing gifts that they're preparing for the VIPs. So you can get to that also on karagoodwin.com, and that's under the Miracles Summit. So thank you so much for tuning in today. I wish you many blessings, and I look forward to the next time.